First of all, I want to apologize to whoever going to present today. I promise we'll make this as quick as possible. And I'm just going to sum up everything that we talked about the other day. So we talked about consanguinity and interfamilial marriage, consanguinity blood relation, interfamilial marriage when these consanguineous couples they get married to each other, where I gave you a little history about it. And also we talked about the advantages of consanguinity, the culturally, socially, and religiously, and as well as we talked about the disadvantages as well, the most common diseases that are associated with the disadvantages of consanguinity and interfamilial marriage. And we also talked about how can we minimize this kind of problem, the counseling, the premarital, which is mandatory to do before getting married, and the preconception is after getting married, before getting pregnant. Okay, and now moving on to the most common diseases that are associated with consanguinity and interfamilial marriage.
Okay, now let's say there is two couples, they get married and they are cousins. What are the common illnesses that are associated with the kids that could have, or even the partners themselves? They could have diabetes, schizophrenia. They can schizophrenia, blood disease such as thalassemia and sickle-cell anemia are in process as well. Spinal cord defect, early hearing and vision hearing damages, mental retardation or learning disabilities, inherited blood disorder, epilepsy. All these diseases could be with the kids that are born. They could suffer in their whole life, and not only them, they will be suffering, also their parents will be suffering because of their mistakes that they thought they can continue their life with it, and they will live their whole life in struggling with their kids and couldn't have for them a solution. In conclusion, consanguinity is a social trend with 54% of people currently living in Kuwait where consanguineous marriages is practiced. The rising public awareness on possible have increased the number of couples seeking preconceptions and premarital counseling on consanguinity. I hope we are the new generation. I hope that we all put this in mind, take care of our kids, know that our kids will be affected by our faults and our steps. So I hope we all know what we're doing and what we're don't be selfish for your own self. Know that by your mistake, also your kids, your babies will get hurt from what you've done, and also you'll keep suffering all your life because of your mistakes.
So at the end, this is a little ad that I've made, happily ever after consanguineous marriages, and basically these are the effects, the side effects of consanguinity, and stop causing congenital malformation to your kids. And as a AUK student, what we can do is basically, for example, that ad, we can give it to the student life center, whatever that is, and we can tell them to put them on the walls or on the clipboards or whatsoever, so we can convey or send this message to the students, right? And also outside of, and as well, we can also invite a speaker, a specialist in consanguinity and these kind of diseases. And he could also run a speech about this kind of topic to these students. It would be useful. Also, outside of the university, what we can do is contact the Ministry of Transportation. You guys know what makes me really angry? The buses, the transit buses, on the side of it, a lot of times you're going to see the slogan, "I'm loving it," from McDonald's. Have you guys seen these slogans before on the buses? And instead of putting unbeneficial slogans like that, you could put something like this. It wouldn't take them that much effort, right? Mm-hmm. And as well as the billboards, the pointless empty ones, the blank ones, the white ones you see on the streets, you guys have seen it, they can put stuff like that as well. And at the end, for the society, like I mentioned before, seeking premarital counseling, which is a stage to prepare them to take wise decisions about whether they want to have a kid or not. Okay? And that's it. And right now, moving on to the interview. Last thing. This is an interview we made in Al-Sabah Hospital. Again, here we go for the interview.
morning, Dr. Hani and Dr. Ayman. I'm going to have an interview with Dr. Ayman Mahmoud, who is an internist in the medical department of Sabah Hospital, and Dr. Hani Al-Houli, a hematologist and a specialist in blood diseases and in charge for the pre-marriage and preconceptional. Dr. Hani, I'm here to ask you a few questions about pre-counseling regarding consanguinity and interfamilial marriage. And the first question is it mandatory to seek for pre-marital and preconceptional counseling? To investigate before marriage. And would you recommend for the preconceptional counseling to become an obligatory screening?
Preconceptional actually is not obligatory to know.
Yes.
And the couple have the choice whether to do or not.
They're not obligatory. And where are these counseling committees held?
Maybe the investigation done in maternity, but the collection of samples done here in Sabah and near the medical council.
Near the medical counseling. Thank you so much, Dr. Good morning, Dr. Ayman. I'm just here to ask you about the most two common questions about consanguinity and interfamilial marriage. The first question is, what are the most common diseases that are associated with consanguinity and interfamilial marriage?
Well, the most common diseases associated with consanguinity and interfamilial marriage are, number one, blood dyscrasias, which means the blood diseases that could happen with this problem. Diseases include thalassemia and sickle cell anemia. Number two, more complex diseases like high blood pressure, hypertension, and high blood sugar, diabetes mellitus. And also high triglycerides and cholesterol levels, which is called dyslipidemia.
Dyslipidemia. Okay. And the second question is, what are the possible solutions to minimize the outcome of this problem?
The possible solution for this, number one, is to consider the pre-marriage counseling, and the second one is the preconception. The pre-marriage counseling means the two couple can go to the healthcare provider and accordingly we will advise what are the disadvantages and what are the possibilities that can happen with the two couples for the expected offspring. Number two is the preconceptional counseling. Also through the healthcare provider, they will advise what disease that will happen and how is a way to prevent like such disease to occur. The preconceptional counseling means before pregnancy.
Before pregnancy. Thanks a lot, doctor. That helps.
So, Dr. Han, as a hematologist and blood disease specialist, can you tell us about the history of consanguinity, right?
Actually, this group of diseases, the blood congenital hemoglobinopathies, they call it congenital hemoglobinopathy, which is mainly beta thalassemia, major, and beta thalassemia minor, and sickle cell anemia. This group of diseases actually it was endemic in the South Europe or the Mediterranean region of South Europe. But and of course there is some people are traveling, so it came to the east of the Mediterranean, and the problem increased when with the increase of the wealth in the Gulf region, mainly Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Emirates.
So, in the Arab regions, they like controlled it and they had like a rule for them that people can't like marry their own cousins and their own relatives. So they can control the diseases that could be translated to their kids.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's the basic idea why you are now trying to develop the premarital counseling. Premarital counseling is designed to tell the people or to inform the couple before marriage. You can advise them, you cannot prevent them 100%. The people will not survive unless he is receiving blood transfusion, or we call it intensive hypertransfusion regime.
Thank you, Dr. Han.
Thank you so much.
I hope that all the people here in the Arabian Gulf and all around the world, they
especially educated people and people who are in college or university, they should understand this very well and to advise the country, but to advise their family. You are the pioneers. Yeah.
I also thank you. Yeah, that's
All right, very well done. Any questions for our doctors?
Doesn't that inspire you into being a doctor?
what is it? Actually, the topic? Actually, yes, it does a lot. Especially that my dad is a physician, so.
Do you think of switching universities to medicine university?
Actually, no, I'm thinking of going back to Canada and finish my criminal justice degree, because I was in criminal justice program anyways. So I'm more interested into psychology, criminal justice, and this kind of stuff. But my sister is going to become a doctor, hopefully.
Nice.
That's an interesting question, and it sort of segues really nicely into the topic for this week that we'll spend a lot of time talking about on Thursday, and that's how you decide majors. And you don't have to move majors or change universities if you want to be a doctor. People with liberal arts degrees, psychology, criminal justice, often become physicians.
Exactly.
You have to take some science courses as well, but
Then what are you majoring in? Right now, it's undeclared, but business management, I guess.
Just like me.
But I know that business is not my thing at all. I know that for sure.
I wonder if some of these two questions are generating. It occurred to me that you seem very knowledgeable about the subject. So, yeah,
Yes.
both of you did. Is there some sort of personal connection to this, or what is it about this issue that you seem so knowledgeable and passionate about?
It's some sort of connection because when I first, I'm going to tell you a little story. When I first came to Kuwait, like 4 months ago, and my cousins were like, oh, Linda, we want to get you engaged to my cousin. My dad is like, this is the last thing you would ever think of. And he told me the steps, why and such as. And then when you introduced that we had to talk about a topic, I told my dad, okay, I want to write about something medical. Something that's medical and social at the same time.
Yeah.
So he brought up this topic as like concentrating for sure.
It's the first time any student has ever presented on this topic, and it's obviously a really important issue. So
And I hope people take it into consideration, honestly, because
it's a serious issue.
yeah, because if I'm seeking premarital and I know that my kid will be positively diseased, why would I take the risk of having a baby? I would feel guilty. I feel like I commit a crime because remember, this child will be going through blood transfusions every single month, and he has to do some blood checkups and he has to go visit the hospital. He's gonna live his whole life in the hospital. So why would I do something like that?
So basically, what happens is we're all predisposed. We all have predispositions based on genetics for certain diseases and disorders. So, for example, with depression is genetically loaded. So, if anyone has experienced depression, there's probably a family history of it, meaning somebody else in the family has it. So, if you end up having a child with somebody else who has predisposition towards depression, that gene becomes more magnified in your children. So they'll be even more susceptible to becoming depressed at some point. And that's true for other sorts of medical issues as well. Well done. Good job.